You know how hard it is to be your own man when your father is Jabba the Hutt? That's why I fight in the pits. They feared him, but they cheer for me.
There are not many characters that can say that they have completely escaped their family's legacy like Rotta has done. Rotta the Hutt's story in The Mandalorian and Grogu is fundamentally about identity, choice, and breaking away from a legacy that he never wanted. Rather than embracing the power and fear associated with the Hutt name, Rotta spends his adult life trying to define himself through his own actions. His journey demonstrates that a person's family does not determine their character, and that it is possible to reject even the darkest inheritance in favor of a better path.
Don't worry, I'm not my father. I don't want to be anything like my father.
As the only surviving heir of Jabba the Hutt, Rotta could have easily followed the traditions of his family. Jabba built his empire through intimidation, slavery, corruption, and violence, and many expected his son to continue ruling the Hutt cartel after his death. Instead, Rotta rejected that destiny. He wanted nothing to do with the criminal empire that his father had created. Rather than inheriting power that had been earned through fear, he left Nal Hut altogether in search of his own purpose. This single decision already set him apart from both his father and the rest of his family. Rotta did not see the Hutt legacy as something to preserve, but as something to escape.
You were sent by my aunt and uncle who want me dead. The twins want me dead because I'm heir to the throne.
Unfortunately, in trying to become independent, Rotta found himself trapped by another criminal, Janu Coin. Although Coin manipulated him into becoming a gladiator, Rotta still believed that he had earned his reputation honestly. Unlike Jabba, who commanded respect through wealth and organized crime, Rotta earned admiration through determination and skill in the arena. The crowds initially despised him simply because he was Jabba's son, but as he continued winning impossible battles, public opinion gradually changed. Eventually, he became one of Sha'Carri's most beloved champions. That admiration was not inherited, it was earned. His fame came from perseverance rather than fear, proving that he could build an identity completely separate from his father's.
When I first started fighting, the people all booed me. They wanted to see me die because I'm the son of Jabba the Hutt. Then I won and became a champion. They slowly began to cheer. They realized I'm not my father. You see them cheering for me out there? For me. It's the first time I'm not living in his shadow.
Rotta's physical appearance symbolically reinforces how different he has become from his family. Whereas Jabba and the twins embody the traditional image of enormously overweight Hutts who rely on servants and bodyguards to do their fighting, Rotta has developed into an unusually muscular and athletic Hutt. He personally enters combat, trains constantly, and earns victories through his own strength. His physique reflects his lifestyle. Instead of indulging in luxury while others fight for him, Rotta has become a warrior capable of defending himself. His muscular build visually communicates that he has forged a different life through discipline and effort, rather than excess and entitlement. Rotta's personality also distinguishes him from nearly every other Hutt seen both in this movie and in the Star Wars galaxy. Hutts are traditionally portrayed as greedy, arrogant, manipulative, untrustworthy, unsympathetic, vile, treacherous, and disgusting slimes who are obsessed with power. Rotta, however, consistently displays traits that contradict these stereotypes. He values personal freedom over political influence, seeks independence rather than domination, and shows genuine concern for making his own decisions. Even when the Mandalorian first approaches him, Rotta refuses rescue, not because he desires power, but because he believes he has honestly earned his freedom and wants to keep his word. His mistake is trusting Coin, not acting out of selfishness or cruelty. You can clearly see how good he is just by how he treats Grogu.
And after tomorrow night, I'll be my own man. Not only will my debt be paid, but I'll be rich by the solstice. He's lucky he has you. Alright, you take care of yourself, little guy.
Rotta also proves himself morally superior to the rest of his family through his actions. Jabba exploited the weak for profit. The twins plotted to murder their own nephew solely to secure control of the Hutt cartel. Janu Coin manipulated Rotta's desire for independence, intending to kill him for entertainment. In contrast, Rotta seeks only the freedom to determine his own future. He never expresses interest in ruling others through fear, nor does he seek revenge simply because he has been wronged. His goals are centered on living honestly and escaping the cycle of violence that defined his family's history. He wants to escape his father's shadow in order to understand who he is as a person and have his own identity.
I was alone when I was his age. I had to fend for myself. I'm my own man, and I'm not afraid to fight for what I have, to earn it, to prove myself to everyone.
His relationship with the Mandalorian further illustrates his growth as a person. At first, Rotta distrusts Mando, assuming he has been sent only to drag him back into the life he abandoned. Once Janu's deception is revealed, however, Rotta quickly recognizes that Mando was telling the truth. During the arena battle, Rotta chooses cooperation, and from there, he and Mando repeatedly save each other's lives while facing numerous creatures. Rather than abandoning the Mandalorian once he has the opportunity to escape, Rotta fights beside him until they can both survive and leave the arena in peace. He only tries to leave on his own once he makes sure that Mando and Grogu are both safe. And while he was captured after this, eventually during the course of the movie you can see that both Mando and Rotta both come to trust one another and become friends.
It's his last fight for you anyway.
It's his last fight ever.
The fix is in. It's a Dejeric match. He will keep throwing opponents at you until you die.
You were right. The fix was in.
Let's get you out of here. Our only chance is to work together.
Perhaps the greatest proof that Rotta has left Jabba's shadow comes at the end of the movie. After the twins' conspiracy is exposed and they are defeated, Rotta is finally free to do whatever he wants with no fear of being pursued by his family. He could live in obscurity, become a gladiator, or even become leader of the Hutt Empire, but instead of becoming another crime lord, Rotta chooses to cooperate with the New Republic, an organization dedicated to restoring peace and lawful government across the galaxy. This decision represents the complete rejection of everything Jabba stood for. Rather than using his family name to accumulate power, Rotta uses his experiences to help dismantle the corruption that his family once represented. His journey shows that redemption is not always about correcting one's own past mistakes. Sometimes it is about refusing to repeat the mistakes of previous generations. Rotta cannot erase Jabba's crimes, but he can ensure that he does not continue them.
You didn't turn out half bad.
Life's messy, but we do the best we can.
Can I give you a ride somewhere?
Actually, I was thinking I could stay here. Maybe work for the New Republic.
Rotta succeeds in becoming everything Jabba was not. He earns admiration instead of demanding obedience, chooses freedom instead of domination, values cooperation instead of manipulation, and seeks a future built on his own merits rather than inherited criminal power. Every major decision Rotta makes pushes him farther away from the identity others expect him to embrace. By refusing the Hutt throne, earning respect through honorable effort, standing beside Mando, and ultimately aligning himself with the New Republic, Rotta demonstrates that character is determined by choices rather than bloodline. Although some will judge him as Jabba the Hutt's son, his actions ensure that he is no longer defined by that relationship. Rotta has fully stepped out of his father's shadow and established himself as a genuinely good person whose legacy is based not on fear, but on integrity, courage, and the determination to become something better than the family into which he was born.